Welcome to Michigan in Focus. I'm Scott McClellan, a reporter for the Center Square. Joining me today is the Center Square's managing editor, Tom Gantert. So this week, the Michigan House passed legislation in favor of making cocktails to go permanently. On a 102-5 vote, the legislation would eliminate a January 1st, 2026 sunset date of a current law enacted in response to the COVID-19 closures and impact on the economy. Tom, can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah. So if everybody remembers back when COVID first hit, there was a time where bars and restaurants were shut down. And then what you were allowed to do and how they were allowed to stay open. And in Michigan, it was from March 21st to June 1st. You know, you could not go into restaurants. And if you wanted to get food, you could order it and pick it up. But that was it. It was enforced. They had Michigan had its COVID agents, state agents out in bars, making sure that there weren't anybody drinking in establishments. So alcohol sales are a huge part of a restaurant and bar. The licenses are expensive and they're limited. So, a license can be, 6 figures, 300,000, because you just don't get one automatically if you go into business. So they're expensive. So businesses then had to survive. So one of the ways is they allow them to sell alcohol and make the profits off of alcohol by this carryout thing, which had never been done before. So Michigan was one of 35 states that created that cocktails to go, as it was called. And now what we're looking at is trying to make it permanent. Okay. It was supposed to expire on January 1st, 2026. So, this would end the sunset. Just give you some numbers on this. Alcohol taxes bring in about $291 million a year. 2020-21, it was $285.8 million. It's now in 2022-23, $291 million. So it's going up. That money the alcohol tax money goes to the general fund, the school aid fund, and a department called the Convention Facility Development Fund. But schools get about $80 million a year from alcohol taxes. And 80 million compared to the lottery gives, public education $1.2 billion. So it's not a major fund, but it is, $80 million.
That's a sizable chunk. I saw that Andy Deloney, the senior vice president and head of state public policy at the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States, welcomed the passage of this bill. He said, "The future of the hospitality industry will be dependent upon many factors outside of the control of business owners, and Cocktails to Go is a valuable tool in their continued recovery and long-term growth."
Another thing about this is I think what COVID did and why this is helpful for businesses is that it trained a lot of people to do takeout. I think that's one of the things that's going to come out of this whole mess of COVID is that I think there's a lot fewer people that are willing to go in and sit in a restaurant anymore or a bar. And I think that caters to that change, that trend of eating home now or drinking home now.
Why do you think people still seem reluctant to go out and dine at restaurants?
Personally, I think one of the biggest reasons is financially. You don't have to tip if you as much if you sit inside. And if you go and go inside and a tip could be as much as $30 to $40 to $50. You don't have to do that. And I think there's a lot of people struggling in Michigan and now finding that I'll just buy the alcohol, take it home and save on the gratuitous tip that I had to do. And that's how they're, everybody, I'm not sure everybody's recovered from the financial stress of COVID. And I think this is one of the ways they're doing it is that, is purchasing your alcohol outside of the establishment and therefore saving on not aiming to leave the tip. If you go out with a bunch of friends, the bill can easily be $150. Okay, well, a decent sized tip on that would be $30, $40. So, I mean, I think that it's a way people are saving money.
Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. Please subscribe and thanks for listening.